So I'm here with two R-type PCBs. The first one I bought was non-working. I bought it for $200. These are pretty fun boards to play if you get them up and running. This one here, I got it from a member on KLOV, a reputable member. Just booted up to a white screen. So when I had this one, I wanted to troubleshoot, so I picked myself up a working one, which is this one right here. The problem with the working one was that I bought it for $350, which is pretty much the going rate for an R-type, was that there was no sound at all. But with the sound aside, I ended up switching out all the different boards. There are 3 different boards here, and I determined on this one the reason why I was booting to a white screen was this ROM board here. You check the ROMs and they were all faulty, so that's why I was booting to a white screen. So I was able to erase all these, reprogram them, and the board actually booted. Now when it did boot, it had a sound issue, meaning there was no sound at all. And I know with these R-types, they do have a thing. If you ever see these 2 caps right here and this little black one right here, if they're missing and there's a jumper wire from one of these caps to where this guy is, that's how you make it for a JAMA cabinet. You have to put the 2 caps in, the 2 capacitors here and another capacitor here, and remove that jumper wire, and the sound should work. Well, these caps were already put in, but there was no sound. So I ended up, like I always do, finagling with the board, and it turned out one of these had a cold joint, and it was getting static when I started pressing on it. So I resoldered it, reflowed it, and it popped right in and booted up. And sure enough, I was able to fix the board with reburning all these ROMs, and I just reflowed the solder on the caps that were done. So this one's actually working 100%, a little dusty, working 100%. Now to this board here, that with no sound, the guy shipped it to me, sold me as working. He's a reputable guy. I really believe him that it was working. Now what happened is, as I'm going through the board, I changed the caps out to the size that were supposed to be in there. Normally the different size caps won't stop it from working, and I put the proper size cap in here as well for sound. I still wasn't getting anything on the sound, so I dug a little deeper, and it turns out, just like on this board, there's an amp. See that amp? Now it was attached to this little sink here, this little heat sink, and this amp on this board, I pulled it off and I saw a little line on it. I said, what is that little line? Well, it turns out the amp was cracked, so I had to order a new one. I got a new one in place. We're going to solder it back in. You can see the number on the amp there. When these boards go bad with the sound, there's not much to the sound here. You got the caps here, the volume pot, you know, there's a sound chip right here. So I had to be something pretty local right there. So I'm going to solder this in and put it in, and hopefully that's what fixes the sound for this, and then I'll have 2 working R-type boards. I'll probably end up selling one, so we'll see if that works. So I'm here with it's a sound amplifier. It's attached to a little heat sink thing here. It keeps it cooler. It's all soldered in. I'm going to throw it in the cab and cross my fingers and hope that's the only thing. If that doesn't work, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change out this sound chip right here. I have a couple of spares here, so let's hope that is. I mean, obviously it was cracked in half. I'm sure that was probably the problem, but we'll give it a shot. So I just soldered that sound amp back in. I got my R-type booting up. This is actually my second board now. I got it set for free play. I'm gonna try to play a little with one hand here as I'm holding the phone here. As you can see, everything's working just fine. Turns out it was just that sound amp that was cracked in half. Now the guy sold it to me working. I really believe him that it was working. He's a reputable member on KLOV. It easily could have just cracked in the middle of shipping. But you know, he would have took care of me if I wanted to. But I like to try to fix these boards anyway. So I'm very happy with the purchase, and I'm very happy that I have 2 R-types now. If you have any questions, just shoot me a message. Thanks for watching.